The Detroit Lions are headed to the NFC Championship after taking down the Bucks in their second playoff win this year. At the beginning of the season, when they played the Chiefs, I made a video and I said the Lions are going to beat the Chiefs week 1 and then they're going to beat them again in this year's Super Bowl. That'd be crazy if it ended up panning out like that. I'd be fine playing either the Chiefs or the Ravens in the Super Bowl, but let's not get ahead of ourselves because we got to play the 49ers. Heading out to Cali, and I think the Lions can win this game. Looking at how the Packers and the 49ers game went, this team is 100% beatable, and I've never been too scared of the 49ers because of how the Vikings beat them earlier. They've had a few fluke games, and every team has, but I'm more scared of the Chiefs and the Ravens than I am of the 49ers. But still, we can't be thinking about those teams. This is going to be a battle, and I'm extremely nervous. We're going to have to stop Christian McCaffrey, and our run defense was fairly good yesterday. We did struggle a little bit against Rachaad White. He had a few long runs, but he didn't have like an amazing, unreal game or anything. In our first playoff game against the Rams, I felt like everything was pretty much perfect. I didn't have a bunch that I was frustrated about or anything. But yesterday, there was one big thing that drove me crazy. And the Lions, if they do this against the 49ers, we will lose that game. When the Lions get when we're in the red zone, when we're first and goal, second and goal, third and goal, we're throwing the ball when we have an amazing offensive line, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. And on the first drive, it was second and goal, and Goff pretty much threw an interception that was dropped. That was a miracle. Oh my gosh, I had a heart attack. I don't know what he was thinking. The guy was not open. But I just don't understand why we're not running that there. When our offensive line is doing great, our run game is working, just run it in, punch it in. Like, that's so much easier than dropping back and trying to find an open man within a 10-yard window of the end zone. And the second drive later on, that's when we scored our touchdown on fourth and goal. But come on, we could have scored that on second and goal. We didn't have to make it that close. It's almost like I felt like I was the Seahawks fan during the Super Bowl with Marshawn. Just run it 3 times in a row, punch it in. I don't know, when we're at the 2-yard line, I don't see any reason to pass the ball. I don't know if Ben Johnson's thinking like they're probably expecting the run, so we're gonna pass it. I don't know. But besides that, I thought the game was great. Our defense played really well. I think a lot of people underestimate our defense. They have a lot of talent and they can step up, and they did do that. There was just really 2 drives where our defense kind of fell apart. The Bucks touchdown, they scored right before the half. They drove down the field. Our secondary was not stopping Mike Evans. He did make some great catches though. And then their last touchdown they scored when they drove down, another Mike Evans touchdown. I mean, our secondary was getting torched. It wasn't as big of a deal though. We were still up by 2 scores. Akers did still throw for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. A lot of those yards and one of the touchdowns was from the end of the game, which we were okay giving up some 10-yard passing plays. We just wanted to get the ball back. Our defense secured 2 amazing interceptions, 2 turnovers, and that might have been the difference. I mean, if Goff throws that pick in the end zone at the beginning of the game, the Bucks take that momentum, maybe Goff gets a little rattled, and that could have been the difference. The first one, just a tip by Mike Evans. I think the ball might have been too high, but great pick by Gardner Johnson. Then he runs it back and flips the ball to Baker Mayfield. And then later, Gardner Johnson's on Instagram Live telling Baker Mayfield he should have watched more film. I think that's pretty funny. And the whole reason he did that was because Mayfield and Gardner Johnson were pretty much beefing, I guess, before the game. It wasn't anything too crazy. Just Gardner Johnson was like, that team, the Bucks could be a good group, but they had a solid quarterback. And then Baker Mayfield was like, he should watch more film. He doesn't watch enough film. So I don't know, pretty much nothing. Just Gardner Johnson just shit talking pretty much. I've noticed a lot of people hating on the Lions recently, which I'm surprised. A few people I follow on Twitter that I've always just been like, yeah, he seems like he's pretty cool. And then they're just coming out hating on the Lions, just calling Kirby Joseph a thug, saying he's a dirty player, hating on Gardner Johnson for shit talking. I mean, I think that's a little crazy. Every team does it. You look at the Chiefs, Travis Kelce, when they beat the Bills last night, they're all waving to the Bills fans in the stands. I mean, everyone talks their shit. I don't know why people are getting so upset though. It happens all the time. I haven't seen a lot of people get upset about stuff like this before, so I think it's kind of funny. It's almost like they're like, oh, we want the Lions to do good, and then the Lions actually do good, and they're like, oh, I'm now upset. And a lot of it has been Vikings fans, and I understand that because the Packers and Lions both won in the playoffs, so maybe they're just really sad. I don't know, but I've been there, so it sucks. I'm just very surprised with how much hate the Lions have received and how many people are calling Kirby Joseph a thug, and it's probably because Stafford in the video mic'd up says you're a dirty player to Kirby, and I bet you a lot more people know Matthew Stafford than Kirby Joseph. I bet you a lot more people are going to side with a quarterback that's been in the league for 10 plus years than a sophomore safety. But the Lions won though. NFC Championship bound. Would have been nice to have it at home, but I think it's fine. A loss in San Francisco would definitely be better than a loss at home against the Packers. So I feel like having that is kind of better. It's not good to really think about the losses though. So the Lions are one of 4 teams remaining in the playoffs in the NFL right now. And I can't believe it when I look at it. I'm in disbelief. It feels surreal. You know, sports playoffs are a lot more fun to watch when your team's still in it. Let me tell you, I've never had this much fun watching any playoffs of any sport in my life. Offensive line was great though. Hopefully Jonah Jackson is fine. Hopefully Frank Ragnow is fine. But I mean, he's a dog. He battled through the whole game. Gibbs, what a game from Jahmyr Gibbs. I love it. Also, can we not have anyone ever say Jahmyr Gibbs again? It happened, I believe, when we played against Dallas. A game earlier, one of the announcers said Jahmyr Gibbs, and then during the halftime of the Bills-Chiefs game, one of the studio hosts said Jahmyr Gibbs, and I'm like, bro, come on. The disrespect is crazy. Everyone doubted this team, though. Everyone doubted the coaching staff, the players. Everyone thought Campbell would be out extremely fast. Everyone doubted Brad Holmes with his picks this season. Look at the Lions now. Look at him. Reynolds has also been a dog recently. What a touchdown catch. Reynolds is just playing great. I mean, with Raymond out, he's obviously getting a lot more play time, but dang, like I think Reynolds is just amazing and extremely underrated in the league. Laporta was back. There was at one point during the game where he just had 3 or 4 straight catches, was just cooking the Bucs secondary. The biggest thing, I mean, if Ben Johnson ever wanted to give me a call asking for advice, I'd just say when you're near the goal line, please just run it in. Just run it in. Maybe throw it on like 3rd down, use 3rd or 4th down for the trick throw. Even if they're expecting the run, we got a great offensive line. David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs with his speed, run it to the outside, run it to the inside, do something. Please run it. I can't believe we're going to the NFC Championship yet. And I was thinking about next year. We get another solid draft, and these players they've gained a lot of experience, a lot of momentum, a ton of confidence. This Lions team is looking scarier and scarier by the week. They're going to be dangerous against the 49ers. We're one game away from the Super Bowl. That is crazy. That doesn't even seem real. If the Lions play in the Super Bowl, I'm going to freak out. But the thing about next year, with the confidence and the momentum the Lions have gained from this postseason, I would say this year is definitely, like, it's a win, even win or lose against San Fran. 2 playoff wins after 2 home playoff games. Unbelievable. That is a dub for the season in my books. But let's keep it going. Let's go to the Super Bowl. That'd be awesome.